Wow. Welcome back in episode 45 ATD Baseball Podcast. Matt and Kello. Matt and Kyle with you today. No Mello today. And we're going to do a little bit of recapping of giving our opinions on the current state of the division series and even the game going on right now. My Phil's up 3-0. So, love that start. How are we doing first off, Kyle?
Not too bad, man. I'm really trying my best to enjoy this postseason without my Yankees in it. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, man. It's hard. This is not a comfortable position for me. But I'm hanging in there. I'm trying to enjoy these last few weeks of baseball and before we lose it completely. But yeah, doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. I gotta say a couple things here before we get into the division series. I didn't get a chance to come on since the Phillies wild card win. So I would like to take a real quick victory lap on saying Phil's in two, that the Phils would easily win that series. Obviously, I tuned back into episode 44 where you and Mello took care of business. I appreciate you guys admitting you were wrong in thinking the Marlins were going to put up a better fight, and that the Phillies were clearly the better team in that series. And yeah, Matt said it from the start. So sorry, had to take a little victory lap there. Promise I'm all done with that. But division series, were 2 games in on the American League side, 1.5 about on the one NL game, and then second game of Dodgers D-backs to be determined yet. So we'll start with the 2 American League games. Rangers up 2-0, 2-0 on the Orioles at this point. And this is an opportunity for both of us, especially you. We got a clip out of you saying that Texas is going to take this series in 5. It could be before 5, honestly. It might be in 4 at this point, even 3. And you said inexperienced, and listen, people don't like when you say that about the Orioles. I don't know why, but the mistakes that they made, some of the mistakes they made, Grayson Rodriguez is a rookie. You can't tell me if he gets a little more seasoned as a veteran, he doesn't perform a little better in playoffs. I just think so. I think that's the case. So, what were your thoughts so far from the first 2 games of the DS?
Yeah, man. For me, Texas came out rolling and they did what they were supposed to and what we expected them to do. I just didn't think it was going to be that bad on the O's side. I mean, listen, I thought the O's were going to lose this series, but I didn't. There's no way in hell that I would have thought that they would have went 2 down, especially starting this series in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a shock. I think that's even more of a shock than what the outcome tonight might be with the Phillies and the Braves.
Hmm.
So for me, I'm absolutely shocked that this is the state right now. But it doesn't. I wish I could say. So I'm shocked, but I'm also like I'm not too surprised if that kind of makes sense because, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, this is an inexperienced team. I'm not taking anything away from this O's team. I'm really not. They fought through the gauntlet of the AL East and they made their mark. Dude, I had this team finishing 4th or 5th in this. I think it was 4th. Dude, this complete turnaround season, but I knew that this was not the year for the O's strictly because of the inexperience. And that's kind of what we've seen so far. So that's my takeaway from it.
I I agree. I'm not shocked because the Rangers offense has been able to carry them when they get decent pitching. And I mean, your guy Monty's been putting up elite pitching so far. And then surprisingly, Andrew Heaney actually did not pitch that bad.
My
And
other old friend.
yes, they only needed a couple innings from him, and he gave them like 3 or 4 solid innings, whatever it was. I was watching that game on Saturday. Um, and this Orioles offense, the second game, they did come to life. And I don't know, that score's a little closer than the game was, it felt like. And granted, the Orioles put up a fight at the end, but I think the Rangers sort of clearly had control that whole game. And the Rangers do have bullpen issues, so I guess technically, or not technically, but I guess that a lead is not really ever safe, and they could have easily tacked on three more to tie the game up. But to me, the Rangers felt in command, in control most of the game. And now heading back to Arlington to possibly close out the series, two games there, you only need to win one of them.
Yep.
So they're going to have Eovaldi, I believe, pitching tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that's the guy you probably feel second most comfortable with at this point. I mean, he's got to be your number two, but behind Monty. And I got to give props to Evan Carter too.
Oh yeah.
The guy is just 1 year older than me, and he's out here only two at bats where he hasn't reached base. That's nuts. He's working walks like Juan Soto, and even like a more experienced Juan Soto, like a very fine aged veteran.
Yep.
And then he's out here crushing extra base hits left and right too. So the Rangers have a gem in him there. Playoff Corey Seager, love to see that. Smoking some doubles. But yeah, I think the Rangers firmly got this in control. Orioles, listen, you have the brightest future in the league, 100%.
Oh yeah.
You just need to realize maybe it's not going to be this year. All right. People were trying to tell you that. And your fans got all upset when we tried to say you're a little young yet and you're going to make some of these rookie mistakes and your guys don't have postseason experience. And that does matter. So I think at this point, even if the Orioles win one game or get swept either way, like you can't be down as a franchise in general. Just realize you
No,
got a
not at
bright,
all.
bright future.
Yeah. Yeah. The O's are gonna be back. They're gonna be back next year, starting this AL East off with a bang. You know, they're gonna be back in the postseason next year. Dude, just gotta wait. That's all it is. Trust the process. That's it.
100%. So on the American League side, then Houston Astros and the Minnesota Twins tied at a game apiece now. First game, Astros took care of business, 6-4. Lead it off with a nice little Jose Altuve home run to start the game. No surprise there. He's a postseason beast. With or without buzzers, all right, people, give it to him. Come on now. Second game, just a little broad picture here. Second game, Pablo Lopez dominated. I mean, he looked pretty untouchable out there on the mound. And Twins offense, Carlos Correa, he looks pretty good. He looks like he's able to carry this Twins offense. What are you thinking about this series as we're knotted up 1-1, getting ready to go back to Minnesota?
Yeah, so for me, I wasn't shocked by game one. I picked the Astros. I full-heartedly believe that they would take care of business of the Twins. But the second game shocked me a little bit. This Twins offense came alive, and Pablo Lopez did his thing just like we all expected him to do. I'm gonna go back a little bit here, and I'm gonna say, no matter the outcome of this series, I think I'm not gonna be shocked by either. So the Astros, of course, I'm not gonna be shocked. But this Twins team might have it in them. I'm not gonna fully say that, but they might just have what it takes to get past this Houston team. And if that's the case, I'm gonna be pissed as a Yankee fan. but I'm gonna give them their props. This pitching is ridiculous. The staff is nuts. If they can continue to take care of business and this offense gives them some runs, I think they'll be fine. You just got to hold this Astros team a little bit. And their bullpen kind of rusty, especially game one. Hector Neris didn't look so hot there. So depending on how this pitching goes, like I said, I'm not going to be shocked. I'm really not. And who would have guessed a Twins Rangers ALCS? Sure as hell not me. So, but we'll see. I'm not jumping the gun here, and I'm not making any predictions, going back on my predictions, but we'll see.
We'll mention an old friends here, left and right. Your old friend Sonny Gray taking the mound tomorrow
Another
for a postseason game here, and like I said, I've said it earlier, a couple podcasts, a couple episodes ago. He's going to receive Cy Young votes this year. He's not going to win, but he's had a great year. He's
Mhm.
he's not an elite pitcher, but he's a very good pitcher so far. And I think for the Astros, you got to at least be positive that Yordan Alvarez is not in a slump here, because
Yeah.
he's not a streaky hitter by any means, but he can be a little hot and cold sometimes. So
Mhm.
he's on right now, though. He's got 3 home runs already just through 2 games, I think it is. He had two in
Yeah.
that first one and one yesterday. I think that's right. Three.
Yeah. Three.
Yeah. So you gotta love that as an Astros fan. Your guy Altuve is still hitting. The second game, Framber didn't have a great start. He gave up like 400 runs, but I mean, he's been hit or miss recently too. And I I don't know what it is, but he's not he's not the same guy who's dominating every outing like he had been before in his career. But you got Christian Javier the next game here, and then you might be back around to Justin Verlander if it gets to a game. Oh well, yeah, it's going to get to a game format, obviously. But so yeah, a lot to be positive about on the Astros side. I think still on the Twins, Carlos Correa is the same guy that he was in Houston in the playoffs. It seems like so he's going to be able to at least propel your offense, if not carry it. Um, I mean, listen, we've said it before. Royce Lewis is a dog, and he's been able to show up in the playoffs so far. So I like what you said. I wouldn't be surprised either way. If the Astros win, if the Twins win, wouldn't surprise me either way. At this point, going back to two in Minnesota, I'm sort of leaning Twins, but I don't want to count out the Astros by any means. So,
Yeah.
um, flipping over to the National League side, we're gonna start with the Dodgers. It was not pretty game one. Um, I don't know how hard we want to break on Clayton Kershaw because it was ugly, and his postseason numbers are ugly, and I hate it for Melo because I just can't imagine. You got the greatest pitcher of our generation out there, and he just can't. He doesn't consistently perform well in the postseason. He's had some good starts, but he's also had some absolutely abysmal starts as well. What are you feeling after one game in this series?
I'm shocked, man. I think I'm more shocked about this than I am with the O's situation. Um, dude, nobody could have seen that coming. I really don't. Even Mello. And Mello was getting on the Dodgers. Me and you, we
Yeah,
acted more me and you acted more like Dodger fans than he did. So I I don't know, man. I mean, it's just, and I hate to even have to talk about this because like you said, Clayton Kershaw has been a absolute generational star, somebody that we enjoyed watching pitch year after year. And that might have been his last start. I mean, obviously we don't know his plans next season if he's going to
yeah,
return or not. But I believe he has 162 ERA at the moment, which that's just, it's crazy to think about, I mean, I expected Kershaw to go out there, do his thing against this young divisional opponent. Um, that was obviously not the case. And I feel like it kind of just it took everything out of that whole Dodgers team. I mean, I don't think anybody on offense could have gotten him back in just because the air was sucked right out of Dodger Stadium. So
100%.
I I don't know, man. I think the Dodgers need to forget about it. You got Bobby Miller going out there next, doing his thing. Just roll with Miller, have it a clean slate, series tied, and then go to business. It's just it's a terrible thing to see one of the best pitchers of our generation go out there and kind of lay an egg. It's not what you want. So yeah, I mean, I feel for Dodger fans, man, especially in that situation.
Just a little peek inside of Melo's head here. live text updates from Melo while he was working at the game. Um, there's some words in here I won't include, but here we go. 2 pitches in, BS already starting. It's over. It was never meant to be. I knew it, man. To his credit, he was very out on the Dodgers postseason, like you said already. Now he was making up these scenarios with the Brewers, not with the Diamondbacks, and I don't think it involved Clayton Kershaw getting rocked for 6 earned runs or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think it was more of the Dodgers offense being stale and losing like 3 or 4 to nothing to the Brewers. But this is a different type of deal. Um, Now for that game 1, oh, James Outman's start to the game with that drop in center field sets the
Mhm.
tempo for the game. And
Yeah.
you can't be doing that. And I understand he's a rookie. And who am I here to talk as a schmup in his basement here to talk about James Outman dropping a fly ball? But like we have expectations, and you were the rookie of the year favorite in the first month of the season. And it's not, I understand it's not a direct pop up right to you. You're on the run a little bit, you jumped a little bit, but it was in your glove. It was right there. And that's one of those 1 in 1,000 plays where it happens. And of course, this one time happened to be in the playoffs. So it set the tone for the Dodgers, and it was not a great tone. You got to get Kershaw, whether he admits it or not. I feel like he's definitely got that little bit in the back of his head where it's like, hey, man, historically, everybody knows you don't do great in these games. And whether he's able to push that out of his brain or not, it would have been a lot easier to. I know that if they would have been set from the start, not been like, oh man, what a start here. Like exactly how Melo felt. That's got to be what was going through Clayton Kershaw's mind. Like, oh, here we go again. And then he gives up that home run right away to Gabriel Moreno. And it's like, oh, here we go again. And it keeps piling on. You get 1 out. I mean, you couldn't get out of the first inning. That's brutal for a legend. Hall of surefire first ballot Hall of Famer like Clayton Kershaw, and you can't get out of the first inning in a playoff game is so tough. Um, Hopefully for his sake, for Melo's sake, he's able to turn around if they do see him again in this series, which if it goes 4 or 5, probably would. You would think so. But yet to be seen, of course. By the time you guys have heard this, game 2 has already happened. So hate to break it to you, but we don't know what's going to happen in that game. And we weren't going to stay up until, I mean, geez, these games get late on the East Coast here. Too late to record after the game anyway. So tough start for the Dodgers, but I think they can at least even the series out. And it's not going to be a sweep. It might be 4, it might be 5. And I think Dodgers can easily still win this series, though.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah. So, final series then. My Phils taking on the Atlanta Braves. A nice little game 1 win for the Phillies. And I mean, we're setting the standard. 3-zip, a gem from Ranger Suarez. Pulled a little bit early. Don't love that by Rob Thompson. But in his defense, Phillies had an off day the next day. He was able to use all those pieces. And I'll defend that. I mean, we're jumping right into the deep end here, but I'll defend that because guys' numbers sometimes aren't the best when the lineup you go through the lineup a second time. So especially for a reliever, once you get into the higher pitch counts and you had a break the next day, I can respect that a little bit on Rob Thompson's end. Now, for a horse like Wheeler and Nova, I think you got to let them ride it out and figure it out. Not that Ranger Suarez need to figure it out. You got to let them stay in there and dominate the rest of the game as long as they can. And Zach Wheeler just wrapped up the 4th inning here strong, 4 scoreless, hasn't given up a hit yet. So I think maybe it's a little different for Ranger too, but I didn't hate it for Rob Thompson and the Phillies. What are your game 1 thoughts?
Yeah, so for me, I thought Rob Thompson got too cute. And luckily, it didn't backfire on him, but I thought he did. The moment he came out and he took Ranger out, I thought the Braves were going to come back because I was already a little shaky on this Philly bullpen. Hoffman came in, I believe, first in relief,
Yeah.
and I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
But I also think the Braves got a little too cute on their end. What was that lineup? Dude, you've had the same lineup damn near all year. And then game one of the NLDS, you decide to shake things up. What the hell was that? That's not right.
Yeah.
Dude, you got these guys who are comfortable in their spots. You don't move them, especially when you're the Atlanta Braves. You are the best team in baseball, and you mean to tell me that game one, that's when you decide to shake things up? I'm sorry. That's where I think both teams got too cute. I'm not taking anything away from the Phillies because I think they played a damn good game one, and I think they're playing a damn good game two. And I'm going to say this. I said to you before we started recording, because I was about to say it to you. If the Phillies win tonight, they will be your NL World Series contenders. I'm not going to go as far and say that they're going to win the whole damn thing because I don't know who's coming out of the AL yet. But I will say, if they can take care of business tonight in Atlanta, there's no way Atlanta's winning two and three straight. I'm sorry, it's not happening, especially against this Phillies team. Look, the Atlanta Braves are the Atlanta Braves, but you got to go play two in Philly against that crowd and then one down in Atlanta. I'm sorry, I just don't see it happening. I think their pitching's thin, especially tonight after Fried. I don't know where they go. So if the Phillies take care of business tonight, they will be in the World Series yet again. I just don't know if like I said, I'm not going to go out and say they're going to win the whole damn thing because I don't know who's coming out of the AL. And I also think that, I don't know, let's say a team like the Twins, they just upset everybody. They are the underdogs. So we'll see. But I am going to stick with what I just said. And I think the Phillies, if they win tonight, they will be in the World Series yet again.
Okay. Clip that. I mean,
Yes.
post that to the newspapers. Love to hear that from Kyle. That's not where I thought we were going to go, but okay. Love that.
Yep.
I don't know what it is with this Phillies team, but they are different in the postseason. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly I can't describe it to you. I don't know what it is. But now back-to-back years, they're up on the Braves and your 100 win Braves. They don't look like the 100-win team that they were this year.
Nope, not at all.
First time they got shut out in Truist in over a year. And
Yep.
I mean, come on. You're the team that had the best offensive numbers. Literally, you and the Rangers were 1 and 2 for everything all year long. You're breaking records. And Matt Olson is, like, I think he broke the RBI record for the Braves in a single season, or maybe something like that.
It was
Yeah.
the home run record. Home
run record.
because of
Yeah.
Andrew Jones.
Yes. And I mean, you got to put up something against this Phillies team.
Yep.
I hate saying that against my Phils, but you got to put something up against them, something on the board here. And now we are 14 innings in, and
Yeah, you have to
Braves have
score.
nothing. Yeah.
And
Nothing.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm not taking anything away from the Phillies here. I'm really not because they're a damn good team and they're proving it. The Phillies have no business winning this series. I'm sorry, they don't.
Wow.
I'm sorry, they do not have any business winning this series, dude. You look at this offense from Atlanta. It is one of the best offenses we have ever seen statistically. There is no reason why that Atlanta shouldn't beat this Philly team. I'm not taking anything away for the Phillies. I'm really not. But dude, it's the Braves, man. The amount of team statistics that they rank first in this year, dude, this has reminded me of all the stats that you see from the 1998 Yankees. Of course, I had to throw my Yankees in there. Come on now. But anyway, like I said, dude, I don't think there's any reason why this Braves team shouldn't have flipped the script here a little bit. I really don't. But guess what? Philly's proven they belong, and Philly is proving that they can do it, just like they did last year. And it's an embarrassment to Atlanta, I'll tell you that. Mello and I said it both. It's embarrassing if the Braves lose this series. And right now, it's not looking good, man. So
I mean, at this point, and we're getting a little far out there. It's one game, so I hate saying this stuff because it's just gonna get thrown back in my face if the Phillies would lose the series. But if the Phillies do win this series again, I mean, NL East championship means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool, you won it like 11 years in a row, or like 11 of the last 12 years. All right, in the last two, though, what have you done? What have you done for me lately? Nothing.
Yep.
2021, you won out, you won the World Series. Props to you. And maybe this is just part of your I'll say character arc, but your team arc here, how your team is gonna progress. I don't know. This is part of your story. Are you gonna bounce back? Are you gonna make a World Series? Because at least you're in the playoffs every year. This is in baseball, it's hard to have dynasties because nobody makes the World Series. Like the Astros are a dynasty.
Yeah.
Nobody makes the World Series like that or makes the ALCS like that 7 years, 6 years straight. So it just doesn't happen in Major League Baseball. But for the Braves, not making it out of the division series 2 years in a row, it's a little tough when you've looked like the best team on paper coming out of the regular season. Maybe not last year, but definitely this year.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you hit it right there, man. I mean, the Phillies are 100% buying into everything that is surrounding them. Team chemistry, the play on the field, the fans back home. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, behind this Philly crowd, there's not too many teams that can beat Philly. And if the Braves go down 2-0 right now, go back to Philly, uh, it's good as over, man.
love to hear that. So we're gonna end on that positive note right there. I am feeling good about the Phillies, so we don't want to talk about if the Braves have a chance anymore. But yeah, like I said, right now Phillies are up 3-0 in top of the fifth here. So we can only talk about what we've seen so far. So Braves could totally come back, win this game, even it up, and it's totally different series. But we're talking about what we've seen so far. And the Braves, oh man, love that. Travis d'Arnaud just threw it right over the second base or shortstop's head on a stolen base. So Nick Castellanos is stealing bases. Here we go. So yeah, I feel great about the Phillies. Yeah, would have loved to got into a postseason game. Don't see that happening. Not exactly in my budget. But if it was, I would probably use SeatGeek. Code ATD, get you $20 off your order. Save you a little bit. With those $20, you can get yourself something to eat at a postseason game, probably. So go use code ATD, $20 off your first purchase from SeatGeek. And that's going to put a bow on this baby, I think. Unless you got anything else.
No, Yankees suck.
4-0 Phillies now, by the way.
Great.
So yeah, we'll see you again. Maybe a midweek episode, depending how these series shake out. Not sure yet. It's really see how things go here in the playoffs. That's kind of how we're running with things. So we'll let you know, and we'll see you again sometime soon. Episode 45 in the books. See ya.
Later.